Every spring there's a window of opportunity out in South Dakota on the Missouri River where the walleyes come up shallow and they position themselves on cut banks. And the cool part about it is that they get real aggressive. So you can use things like artificial tails and jigs and just get a bunch of fish. So it's a ton of fun. So when I started thinking about going out jigging, the first thing I thought about is got to stop and get my buddy Jeff Stephensen. Jeff and I have fished a lot of years together and he just loves to pitch jigs. So we're going to go out to Platte, South Dakota. It's a section of the Francis Case Reservoir that I've never really fished. I'm going to go out there and pitch shallow, and I'm going to go out and get the next bite.
I'm just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite. I'm just looking for the next bite.
We'll continue to show you the next bite.
Breaking down big water doesn't have to be intimidating.
He picked it up about halfway out.
And what's cool is when you get the chance to do so on waters with such a scenic shoreline.
Oh, look at it, he's still milking. A little bit of milk. So we got a male here. So it's a male.
But whether it's the pictured rocks of Lake Superior or the towering bluffs of the Francis Case Reservoir, this time of year in the right spots with the right approach.
He hit it and ran with it, actually. Almost, you know, like there's more than one of them up there.
There is a real opportunity for catching a ton of post-spawn migratory walleyes.
I mean, he literally grabbed it and ran. And sometimes when they do that, that's a sign that maybe a couple more fish are around kind of competing with them. So when you come out to Francis Case, you'll notice running down the reservoir, there's just lots of bluffs and points. And a lot of times you want to pick out some of the best ones. First of all, I want ones that are sharper breaks at shore. So a lot of times if you look at the face of the bluff, you can kind of tell it's going to be a little sharper break at shore. You want that nice, almost sheer face on it. The other thing though that you want is somewhat of a shelf coming out, and so that you're still fairly close to shore but in deep water. So what I'm looking for is like 12, 13, 14 foot, but we can still cast right up to shore. So look for those steep bluffs, look for that 12, 13 foot of water. Odds are you're going to be in a place where you can catch some jig fish.
While most of the bottom of this reservoir's vast shoreline is conducive to an easy retrieve for jigging, one of the aspects that makes it so much fun.
Jeff's got one.
It feels pretty decent.
Wind can quickly change an otherwise pleasant stretch of shoreline into a real challenge for boat control.
That's a good one. I mean, it's kind of the size we're looking for right there. He's about a 19-incher. So one of the tricky parts about fishing out in a reservoir like this is you actually want a little bit of wind to be blowing up on these banks to get the fish a little active, but obviously when it does start blowing, the boat control gets a little harder, especially when you're doing something like pitching a jig out there. You can't be just ripping down these shorelines coasting with the wind. So one of the nice things I'm using right now is something called anchoring. So I've actually used a remote control here and hit anchor. And then to move down the shoreline, I get to use something called jog. So I'm anchoring and jogging. I can simply move the boat back. Say I hit this bottom button twice, I move back 10 feet. If I want to move over a little, I can hit a left button, move over 5 feet. If we do catch a fish, I just leave it in anchor. It holds me right there. So both Jeff and I can hop in the back of the boat. We're both real precisely covering this bank with our jigs, just letting that trolling motor do all the work, anchoring and jogging right down these banks.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury, #1 on the water. Amsoil, performance for serious adventure. Tracker boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. Mustad, stay sharper longer. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Motor Guide trolling motors engineered for anglers. Strike King, legacy of domination for 50 years. And Power Pole, swift, silent, secure.